Welcome and welcome back to this next exciting session of the Day of the Climate Professional. My name is Stephen Carlson, and I am proud to be supporting the Youth Climate Leaders Network here in the US, an international organization which trains and connects young people with opportunities to kickstart their careers in the fields of climate change solutions. It is my pleasure to be here to introduce the following professionals who exemplify what it means to be a climate professional, working across the private sector and taking decisive action by building green, recognizing that green business is climate action. For those just joining, welcome to the inaugural edition of the Day of the Climate Professional. We're glad to have you here with us. Today's a day to celebrate, convene, and showcase the many climate professionals working across industries, sectors, and boundaries, while calling on others to join this critical work to accelerate solutions to the biggest challenge today, the climate crisis. To kickstart the session, I'd like to introduce my colleague, Amanda Shawn, from our partners at the U.S. Green Chamber of Commerce. We appreciate their support helping realize this day, and we are proud to be supporting more climate professionals alongside them and showing the tangible actions are attainable through collective commitments like the Global Climate Action Pledge, which we are asking every participant of the day to sign. Amanda, over to you.
Thank you, Stephen. I would first and foremost like to thank all of our speakers for joining our call today. Each of them have been recommended to us by the Chambers for Sustainability Coalition members, as they are all amongst one of our most successful and innovative businesses. They're very accomplished and have largely contributed to the sustainability sector through their small to mid-sized businesses. I was particularly excited for this event since we're going to be hearing from businesses of all different sorts and sizes and industries. Today, we will be having speakers from all over the world. We are excited to welcome Jose Convers from Bogota, Colombia, Chris Yalonis from California, which is in the USA, Brianna Kilcullen from Florida in the USA, Nathaniel Cooper from Buenos Aires, Argentina, and Katherinne Romero, who is also in Bogota, Colombia. So our first speaker for today will be Jose Convers, who was invited by the U.S. Green Chamber of Commerce, and he will be speaking about his company, Biospen. Jose?
Hi, Amanda. How are you? Hi, all of you. Apologize me for my English. I'm not very well with that language, but I will try to show you our work. So Biospen is a company that wants to sell sustainability. Our work is sell economy, social and environmental products that create new opportunities in our country. So Biospen is the result of a dream inspired in nature of Colombia and the preservation of natural resources. Our goal is to be a green alternative to traditional laboratories. Why green laboratory want to be? Because the green chemistry that is made by John Warner, that is a United American person who is inspiring us to change the chemicals and create new products about that. So we start to green chemistry and biotechnology in green clean products. So we are social responsible company guided by a policy generated decent employment, gender equality, and compliance with human rights throughout our value chain. And in their way, we seek to encourage the economic growth of vulnerable population. Actually, the 2 years we are be invited by the United Nations to help women who have violence life in the with the guerrilla, and we try to help them to create companies and get out the war and start a peace and be involucrated with the society. Our projects of green chemistry generate a responsible consumption and production in home care products, and we are recognized as the fifth green business in Latin America by Premios Latin America Verde. This is our products. Actually, we choose Kingfisher as a the animal that represents our product is because this animal is in charge to protect rivers and all the aquatic environments. Our products are based in the theory of green chemistry. This theory was created by John Warren, and the purpose of this methodology is to design chemical products and processes that reduce or eliminate the generation of hazardous substance. Green chemistry reduces pollution and is sourced by minimizing or eliminating the hazards of chemicals, feedstock, agents, solvents, and products. Actually, we are the first company to be audited by the Green Chamber of Commerce of the United States with the process of sustainability. Actually, we also make an alliance with PETA that we don't use any animal in our processes to investigate, and also with WWF that any cell that we make, we are spending a percentage to preserve the animals of Colombia. So actually, when you buy a product like our, you are protecting animals. Also, you can protect the forest. We have another alliance with Bosques Nagal and other alliance that create that the PET or the plastic that we produce in our products are recycled and dignify the people who is in charge about these residues. So the green chemistry of our 12 principles that we have are prevent waste, design chemical synthesis to prevent waste, leave no waste to treat or clean up. So we try that our stakeholders, I don't know how to say, the suppliers, can give us the best chemicals and the most innovative chemicals that we can use to prevent the contamination or the issues to the environment. So also we try to maximize the atom economy, trying to get the perfect formula of our detergents that can clean without any or have a minimal impact in the environment, because any action that we make, we are impacting the environment. So, for example, we eliminate VOCs, salts, we reduce the VOCs or organic compounds, volatile, I don't know, all the chemicals are biodegradable with aerobic and anaerobic conditions, so they can degrade in water plant treatment or in the river. And also we evaluate that the critical volume or ecotoxicity are very low compared with the requirements that request like eco-label of Europe, or for example in Colombia is the Sello Ambiental Colombiano or Green Seal. So we try to take all the norms, international and nationals, and try to create this product to ensure that our environment is with a minimal impact. Because if we don't take in charge the protection of our environment, also we will be creating or create some issues to the other countries, because we are in one planet. Colombia is not alone, so we are trying to that. Design less hazardous chemical synthesis. So we try that, for example, SLES or lauryl sulfate doesn't have any chemical that produce cancer or mutagenic. Design safer chemicals and products. So we try that the chemicals that we use don't create mutagenic or create cancer or sensitization. I don't know how to say sensitive with skin and respiratory organisms. Use safer solvents and reaction condition. Actually, we eliminate solvents. We have a degreaser that doesn't have any solvent, and actually work very well, increase the energy efficiency. So we try to take account that our country have a very well energy, hydroelectrical energy, and also take account that we have a lot of sun. Use renewable feedstocks. Actually, our materials are made from sustainable or renewable materials, and we start an investigation with the university to change the plastic of our products to cellulose, and try to change the nanomaterial of these fibers and create a new material that replace old plastic in all conditions. So we are trying to involucrate the university and the private companies. And how can we work with the green alternatives? Actually, the innovation must be generated with the collaborative of private companies and university, and with the organization like the Green Chamber of Commerce of Colombia or the US, or any green chamber that is in the world. So I invite you that support these entrepreneurships projects that want to change the world and want to be a better place for you and for your sons and people. Thank you very much. I'm sorry, I'm not good.
No worries, Jose, you did awesome. Thank you so much. It's great to see that. And I believe we have Nathaniel's also working with biotech, which he'll discuss later. But I did want to mention that Jose was selected by the U.S. Green Chamber as one of our global sustainability leaders. And I think he mentioned this, but Biospen was also the first ever business to go through the U.S. Green Chamber's Green Business Certification. So our next speaker will be Chris Yalonis, who is represented by the San Rafael Chamber, and he will be talking about VenturePad. Chris?
Hello, everyone. My name is Chris Yalonis. Thank you for having me here, Amanda, and Green Chamber. I'm going to talk to you about a company I founded about 4 years ago named VenturePad. We are a co-working entrepreneurship center in San Rafael, California, just north of San Francisco. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how we operate and how we also project the story and the benefits of sustainability to our community. So I'm going to talk a little bit about how we fit into our community's economic development and how we try to promote green operations and an ethos around how we create jobs and new economies. And then I'll finish up with some career and volunteer opportunities. Next slide. So we were launched again about 3.5 years ago. And since our opening, we have been able to bring in about 450 companies and individuals. So some of them are corporate commuters or solopreneurs or startup teams. And we offer workspace and open and private offices. And it's an entrepreneurship hub here in the central part of the county. Our county is about 250,000 people. But we also offer a lot of connection to other entrepreneurs. And we have an ethos and a culture of sustainability, of really trying to improve social equity in servicing underserved communities and communities of color. For the work that we have been doing, we were named Green Business of the Year by our community, actually 2 years in a row by 2 different organizations. And then we organize our community's largest sustainability conference of the year called the Sustainable Enterprise Conference. Next slide. So we are really about a shared economy model. So as opposed to having expensive long-term leases, we offer sort of month-to-month and very easy workspace options for companies and for startups and individuals. We're all electric, so 100% of our electricity comes from renewable sourcing. We have a utility that our county created called the Marin Clean Energy. And the the legislation and the law that allowed that to be created was called the community choice aggregation. And it's a sort of a model for electricity generation that really is sweeping the United States, and I imagine it's in other countries, but allows a community to create its own utility and choose where it's going to source its electricity. So Marin Clean Energy is our utility. We're all opted into it, and it allows us to purchase electricity through a utility that is sourcing its electricity through solar and bio or hydro and wind. All of our staff and our members are commuting, so we try to reduce our footprint, our commute footprint with bikes and walking and with electric vehicles. We have a bunch of charging stations within just a few blocks of our location. Our waste, we really try to eliminate plastics. We have both paper and then plastic and cans and metal stream recycling. We do composting here. So it allows us to divert our waste by about 95%. We use very little printing. It's all paperless operation. Our furnishings are sourced quite a bit from used upcycled wood and bamboo. And then but a lot of our influence and our impact is around our ongoing programs for the community and for our members. And this is around social equity, sustainable practices, and events. Next slide. So we were very pleased that we were recognized for being a change agent. And one of our local business magazines named us as a game changer of the year. So I think just as for the audience listening to how can you as an individual make an impact, oftentimes it's around your outreach and what you stand for. And so we've been pleased that our mission of influencing entrepreneurship and providing support and tools for having social and environmental impact, that's coming out and being recognized. Next slide. All right. So, the business case that we can share with you all as you run your own businesses or start are, when it comes to cost savings from your operations, that's just the beginning, but we can certainly save a lot of money through lowering our water footprint, our carbon, our waste footprint. We also found that many businesses, their leaders believe that customers are attracted to sustainable companies, and people want to purchase from brands and companies that are practicing sustainable practices. Branding, a big part of effective branding now is promoting healthy products that have low impact on the environment. And then, of course, millennials, and I would even say just eliminate millennials. I would say just about anyone of any age wants to work for a company that makes a positive contribution. So we have found that for interns or for new employees or members, that they really appreciate our values and what we stand for and want to work for a company because of it. And then, our building is particularly healthy because of the lack of VOCs, the good circulation of the air in our HVAC system, and just the materials that we're using. Next. So we like to look at the 4 W's of efficiency, so watts, wheels, waste, and water. And we've tried to install as much very energy efficient utilities and lights and equipment that we can. For many of our communities, at least half or maybe even 2/3 of your communities' GHG emissions are related to cars and trucks. So if you can encourage your employees or encourage your customers to use alternative transportation or EVs or bikes, that really cuts down on your footprint. Of course, waste, we always want to look for ways to reduce that. And then waters, using things like aerators and rethinking irrigation, swapping out waterless landscaping. Those are all good ways to reduce water use. So we work in an ecosystem that I'd encourage all of the audience to think about influencing if you can. And so we have a climate action plan for our county called Drawdown Marin. And it's based on Paul Hawkins' seminal book called Project Drawdown, which looks at the 100 most effective technologies and tools to reduce carbon emissions and to actually draw carbon out of the atmosphere. So, you know, we fit into a bigger ecosystem, and I'd encourage you all to look at ways that you can have influence, either through your local government or through nonprofits and educational groups. Next slide. So we have found that we look at our carbon action plan and link that up with the jobs that are going to be needed to build capacity to execute that plan. So a lot of that means electrification of buildings, electrification of transportation. So you need electricians and tradespeople to be with some of those knowledge, those skills. Certainly waste to energy, composting, biochar. You need good, well-trained people in that field. And obviously some scientists and specialists trained in environmental science, conservation. Of course, park service and land management is an important function that there's opportunities for. That's going to be really about it. I'm available for coaching and consulting if anyone would like to contact me and understand better how you can turn your organization into more sustainable practices, or can get active in your climate action plans in your community. Thanks very, very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Chris. I also wanted to point out and congratulate you, as I saw that VenturePad was also awarded the Best of Marin in 2020, which is this year, alongside your Green Business of the Year in 2018. So that's truly amazing.
Great. Thanks, Amanda.
Of course. Our next speaker will be Brianna Kilcullen from the North Florida Green Chamber, or sorry, was invited by the North Florida Green Chamber, and she'll be talking about her company, Anact. Brianna?
I'm super excited to be here today. My name is Brianna Kilcullen. I'm the founder of Anact. Anact is short for the simple act of creating impact. And if you want to go to the next slide. So we're a direct-to-customer facing e-commerce brand focused on the simple act of creating impact through activism. And our latest act has been disrupting the textile industry and the home goods space by creating a sustainable towel better for all people and the planet. If you want to go to the next slide. So just a little bit about me, because I feel like it's really important to know our internal whys in sustainability and what gets us going. So my background is in international business and human rights and environmentalism. I ran the supply chain and sustainability programs at Under Armour and Prana, which is a subsidiary of Columbia Sportswear. And I created Under Armour's first ever sustainability position, headquartered in Baltimore, Maryland in 2014. I started my company Anact 4 years later in 2018. We were successfully funded on Kickstarter last year. And then I helped pass the hemp legislation here in Florida because our product uses hemp and we're reintroducing it. So there's a lot of legislation that still classifies it as marijuana. And I've traveled to a little over 40 countries and worked in about 100 plus factories on almost every continent. And this was, so the industry problem, this is my internal why, was that in working in these large apparel brands, I had this opportunity to see how negative or how harmful the textile industry is on people and the planet. So when I first started in production, I was in El Salvador, and I had this moment where I was on the factory floor and I just looked around and I saw all of these people producing these Under Armour t-shirts that were going to be sold to Dick's Sporting Goods and all these major retailers, and no one knew what they were going to be doing with them when they were done, if they didn't sell. And the fabric was coming from Asia, and the yarn was coming from like somewhere in Europe. Like it just had this huge global footprint that I never knew about where our clothes came from. And so I just remember coming home for the holidays and trying to explain my job and trying to explain this industry and what it looked like. And it was just really hard to connect because a lot of people, we don't have that experience of seeing where our clothes are made or the impact that they're having. And we don't design for end of life. It's a very linear process instead of circular. And so that experience really just resonated with me. And so I always thought, the best thing I could do was to be this corporate advocate and work within these bigger brands. Usually they're in legal departments because it's a risk adverse as opposed to being seen as this conscious capitalism, this opportunity as a revenue or a sales driver for a brand. So I decided that I wanted to leave to start my own brand because I felt like that would give a direct connection to the customer, to be able to share the story of this industry in which I come from and be able to make this product that would be better for all people on the planet. And I had a CFO that I was reporting to tell me, we'll do these sustainability initiatives, but you don't understand the costing and you don't know the business case. And so therefore, you're only as good as, whatever we decide is, going to work for the organization. And so that was another incentive for me personally to say, fine, I'll go learn the business side and implement the sustainability. So that's something I always try to share with people who are interested in implementing sustainable initiatives, is that you don't have to have a title. You don't have to have a certain, have it written in your job role and responsibility. It's just the mindset and applying it to the work that you're doing, I think is really an important lesson that I learned, and that I always try to share, that you don't have to wait. It just really starts with you. And that's really what Anact is about, is holding that responsibility and accountability of, what are we all doing in our sphere of influence. And I also linked the documentary, The True Cost, in here, if anyone's interested in learning more. Almost hour and a half overview of just the impact it has on the climate and impact that it has on social issues. So highly recommend checking that out. I'm going to go to the next slide. So when I decided to create Anact, I wanted to build this movement within the brand because I believe that, we have this ecosystem of private sector, of public sector, of academia. And so I really do believe that capitalism or for-profit plays one of the biggest roles in the climate crisis. And so how are we creating products and brands that are also able to compete because they're better products, but then they're also sustainable? And that was a takeaway that I learned, was that, you can talk about sustainability all day long, but for me, if you don't create a product that works and is better, then it's really hard to make that business case and to build a following, because that will only carry you for so long. So our towel I designed is made out of 55% hemp, 45% organic cotton. And I designed it because I was living in San Diego at the time, and I didn't have a washer or dryer. And so I was just, my towels were picking up this mildewy smell, and I was just so grossed out by it. And, being running these sustainability initiatives, everyone always asks you, what products do you use? What foods do you eat, etc. And I felt like I couldn't recommend a good sustainable towel line. And so I had this idea in 2017 where I was like, well, if there's not something out there that works for me, then I'm going to go design a product to solve my own problem. And then I'm sure there's other people who feel the same way, and go from there. So the towel is, what I did is I designed this proprietary weave. So it's a thinner towel than this plush towel that you normally see on the market. And then I chose to use hemp because hemp naturally resists the growth of bacteria. So its molecular structure is hollow. And then it's also just this fantastic crop when you compare it to conventional cotton in regards to sustainability and its water savings. And then, and we have an impact score. So we can go to the next slide. I think it should pop up. So this is on our website. So I partnered with this third-party organization, Green Story, out of Toronto, to be able to communicate the impact, because I think often with sustainability, there's a lot of greenwashing. And so it's really hard to understand who's doing what, and it gets this qualitative stigma and not this quantitative data driven. So that was really important to me. So on all of our packaging, you'll see the impact in regards to water savings. And then on the bottom, you can also see all of the other savings that we have for the products. And then right now we're doing a carbon neutral pilot program where you can actually redirect or direct to certain carbon offsetting programs through each purchase.
So sorry to interject, 30 seconds remaining notice.
Thank you. Okay, we'll jump to the next one. So to date, we've saved a little over 3 Olympic-sized pools, which is really exciting. So we have that impact report on our homepage. And we'll hop to the next one. And then not only do we want to talk about the activism we're doing in the textile industry, we want to connect with other activists. So we just had a drive-in event in honor of the Black Lives Matter movement to raise awareness around other change makers and their social and environmental platforms that they're tackling. We'll head next slide. All of our work is connected to the 17 UN SDGs. That's kind of our North Star. And then so just a quick takeaway, look for jobs where you can apply a sustainable mindset, not have to be sustainability centric. Make sure you ask where your clothes are coming from, especially now with the holidays coming up, buy local and sustainable. And don't forget that you can't control others, but you can control your actions. And that's, what we try to do here at Anact. And then I think this should be the last slide. And then, yeah, give us a follow at Anact Global. All of our holiday orders are carbon neutral. If you're interested in volunteering, we're a startup. Send me an email at hello@enact.com. And thank you so much for having me. And yeah, I appreciate it.
Thank you. The stat about the 3 Olympic-sized pools just blew my mind. I remember, I think a year ago, I had heard that like the production of one t-shirt is like requires like 2,700 liters of water or something crazy like that. And it's just insane the impact that you don't even realize when you're buying into certain brands. So you know what, I probably will end up ordering from Anact for my holiday gifts. So that's great to know. Thank you. Our next speaker will be Nathaniel Cooper, who was recommended to us by the British Argentine Chamber, and he'll be talking about his company or startup, Patagonian Cells. Nathaniel? You're on mute.
Well, when I do this, like this, you can change, feel free to change to the next slide.
Okay.
So I am Nathaniel Cooper, co-founder, dreamer, and CEO of Patagonian Cells, a company that is trying to discover and produce the natural ingredients that we use in our products, the products that we love, but in a different way. So take a look at this beautiful lavender field. Smells good, right? There are thousands of these fields in all over the world to produce all kinds of products, essential oils, fragrances, cosmetics. Cosmetics, fragrances, nutritious food, food supplements, even drugs are made of plant ingredients. And what are they? Plant ingredients are molecules, very special molecules that enhance our health, our bodies. And we all love them. Makes us feel good, pretty, smell good. Even sometimes our health relies on them, like the case of a drug, anti-cancer tumoral drug that is made from plants. The case of Plaxitaxel. So these beautiful fields and great products are everywhere. They are worth billions of dollars, and they are very nice. But we have a little problem. We have a global and increasing demand especially of millennials, from these plant products. And in order to sustain them, we need to extract billions, millions of tons of plants from the earth. And this extraction means tons of water, tons of pesticides, huge areas of lands, generally with poor agricultural practices, and even worse for us, there are plants at risk of extinction, loss of biodiversity. This is our motto, our motivation to do this. So if there's a Chinese very good paper that claims that there are more than 15,000 plants at risk of extinction due to these practices to produce the products we love to use every day. So what if we can change the way we grow these natural ingredients in a smarter way, cleaner way? Here's where Patagonian cells shows in. We believe in the power of nature, of plant cells. So the plants, they have very special molecules, stem cells, and we can use the same power of these cells, biology, to replicate themselves and grow the same ingredients. And of course, we use some biotechnology to obtain specifically the ingredients that the market needs. And how to build a green business? Well, in our case, it's maybe very technical. I don't want to get into, but it's very easy to see that we go from a traditional agriculture that has been the same for the last 10,000 of years to cellular agriculture to obtain the same ingredients. Instead of using hundreds of huge land and water and pesticides, we just take one single plant, identify the molecule we want, this plant stem cell, and just let her grow in a petri dish in the lab, okay? And then we can scale this production. This is our kind of our secret sauce. The method, it's very technical now, but it's very simple. It's going from big agriculture that uses a lot of resources and we just want to go to cellular agriculture. And well, this is the team behind this. I would like to present Guillermina Bongiovanni, our queen. She has more than 16 years of experience with this plant biotechnology, with antioxidants, and our business savvy Ramon Sundblad, and me, Nathaniel, trying to unite this team and take this technology of the lab to the world, because we believe this can make a huge impact. So what makes us united? What is our purpose? Our reason to be here now is to increase planetary health while protecting nature, because we believe that if we make this biotechnology mainstream, we can save plants, we can save literally nature. We don't know what are the consequences of losing plant species. So it's time to do something. And how can we build or participate of a sustainable business? Well, I don't have, I'm very humble here. This is my first sustainable business. I come from banking, from digital tech startups, but I come from a very ecological family of scientists. And in my point of view, like, let me tell you a little bit of our story. I met Dr. Guillermina Bongiovanni 2 years ago in a very special event where scientists and business entrepreneurs met to discuss about futuristic ideas to generate impact. So as Brianna said, it's about like the mindset, for me at least, the motivation to connect with a big problem. So first of all, it's try to understand what are the biggest problems in our world today. Like, go and see what are the SDGs and know your skills. And this I try to say humbly, okay? Because we are an early stage startup, so we would love to make this a huge business, but we're starting, and what keeps us together is this sense of purpose, sense of trying to solve a big problem for the world. And this is what makes you passionate about something. If you don't have the passion, there's gonna be a lot of ups and downs. When I'm down psychologically, I just think about our purpose, about the problem we're trying to solve. For example, loss of biodiversity. And this makes me like move on, go a step further. So this is it. Thank you very much, and feel free to reach out. I love to connect with people, to exchange ideas, and yeah, this is it. Thank you very much, Amanda, and all of you here. I'm very humbled to listen to your stories.
Thank you, Nathaniel. Not going to lie, biotech is definitely out of my sphere of knowledge, but by the sounds of it, it seems like your startup will find a lot of great success, especially because I didn't realize how many applications plant cells can have. I didn't realize it was used in so many different products. So that's truly amazing. Our final speaker for today will be Katherinne Romero, who was invited by Colombia's Green Chamber of Commerce, and she'll be sharing about TECHO. Katherinne?
Hi, Amanda, thank you. Thank you. My name is Katherinne Romero. I'm a professional with experience in companies of energy efficiency and green construction industries. I am a volunteer leader of communication in the Environmental and Sustainable Development Program in NGO in Colombia, and associated consultant in a Colombia's Green Chamber. And today I'm going to explain one case from a project by TECHO NGO in Colombia, located in Bogota. Next, please. Thank you. The program that integrates sustainable business practices with volunteers program in different areas around the city, like Ciudad Bolívar, Usme, and Cazuca. The program receives financial from companies with the same purpose as the NGO TECHO, that is reduce poverty, and two, called focus on supporting climate action in informal settlements. The Environmental and Sustainable Development Program of NGO is making projects focused in waste management, food security, water management, right to the city, and environmental education. This is an opportunity to know as a green business model created for people highly worried for climate risks of settlements, and of course motivated to support these communities from their personal purpose. That is important thing because purpose is the creative force, and this is excellent aspect for the program. The program has organized with maybe 80 or 90 people with little groups that combine activities in community and management. Then the small groups are, for example, project supporting communities, communications, volunteers management, team of fundraising, and thematic trainings. Next, please. The program contributes to SDGs, 11 of these. The main important is not poverty, and other like quality education or gender equality, sustainable cities and communities too, clean water and sanitation, climate action, and the projects in the ongoing are about the different aspects. For example, gardens, for example, eco walls. I would like that in these aspects or these different types, the programs makes with ecosystem balance principles, biodiversity, social value, cultural and gastronomic tradition too. In waste management, for example, participating in cleaning days and waste reuse, organic compost and waste separation systems. Environmental education is key because the program works in development interpersonal skills and recognition of biodiversity in settlements. Other aspect is, example, infrastructure, like a structure made out of recycled materials, example, plastics, and circular economy, especially in collaborative economy, because together with communities, reuse of materials and return to the chains. Reforestation is other type of project, because here create green areas and work with territorial entities and protect areas. Actually, if someone is interested in participate or in support the program, please contact Executive Director TECHO Colombia, because it's really interesting to support this project. Okay, next, please. The program has different changes during 7 years, maybe. And today, I would like to share with the youth climate leaders, from my experience, 3 important things. First, environmental problems in informal settlements are serious. Second, it's important to develop a simultaneous process in community and management. And third, it's possible to combine social and environmental innovation with business strategy. Imagine that integrate this program with corporate social responsibility area, example. Next, please. It's all. Thank you. Thank you, Youth Climate Leaders and Chamber for Sustainability Coalition, US and Colombia's Great Chamber.
Thank you so much, Katherinne. I also saw that through TECHO, you guys have mobilized over like 1 million volunteers and built over 150,000 homes. That is amazing. And I believe that concludes all of our speakers for today. I would like to thank each of the panelists for sharing about their wonderful initiatives. I believe that with the implementation of programs like these, we can achieve a more sustainable environment and get one step closer. It is also essential that we begin these processes now so that the next and future generation of climate professionals can continue to practice and also build upon these values. So I would now like to hand it over to Stephen for the closing remarks.
Thanks, Amanda, and thank you all for joining this session. Truly inspiring. So I want to thank you all again for participating. And for our participants watching, please stay tuned for the next session. It's going to be starting now on dealing with climate anxiety at all ages, featuring voices from Portugal to India and the US. Thank you all. Bye-bye.